Founded in 1982 to be a model support center for young children with disabilities, Any Baby Can has since expanded its services to include comprehensive assistance for the whole family. Our belief is that every child deserves a chance to live a happy, healthy life. To this end, we feel that by also serving the needs of the family, we serve the child.
Services at Any Baby Can revolve around case management. We provide a licensed social worker for families to help them access services and resources. We also look to fill the gaps for families who are overwhelmed. And most importantly, we look to provide support for families through our Sibling support group, through our Autism support group, grief support. And we want to be there to provide services to all families who have a child with a chronic illness or disability.
Getting people to understand what exactly autism is a work in itself. It's a struggle. It's a daily struggle, especially when you go out to the grocery store just to pick up something to eat. Why is he like that? I used to get that all the time. Why does he do that? Why doesn't he talk? And me, thank God my mom was there, because I would get mad because that's my son.
I think one of the most difficult things about autism, unlike children with other disabilities, is it isolates families from their neighborhoods and from their communities, even from their churches sometimes.
Families who have kids that are diagnosed with autism come to us for our in-home parent support, where we send a trainer into the home to help them figure out what to do in the home and work on behavior. They're also able to access our newly diagnosed counseling group and move into our individual and family groups as well to receive some counseling.
We had this parent training where we actually had more information on how to deal with Brandon, with his tantrums, and it helps so much. With Any Baby Can, they made me feel confident, and confident enough to talk about it to another mother that's having the same problem.
Parent support is so important because you feel like you're in this world and nobody understands you.
It's interesting to see other families, what they're going through, how they're dealing with it, similarities in our children. It's easy to talk to them. You feel comfortable. And just knowing that you're not by yourself is like the greatest feeling ever.
I think it's very important for families to get that respite, and Any Baby Can helps with that. They realize the importance of all family members feeling fulfilled in their roles.
Cystic fibrosis is a genetic disease. It affects every organ of your body except your heart and your brain. It causes your body to create an abnormally thick mucus that basically clogs the organs. I think the biggest impact it has is just on our daily schedule. She does hours of treatment every day. She does 3 treatments a day. She does them in the morning, she does them after school, and she does them in the evening. These treatments will go anywhere from 30 minutes to 2.5 hours. And we have 2 other kids to tend to. I think next to having special needs, being a sibling of a child with special needs is incredibly difficult.
The sibling support group that Any Baby Can provides is a special time for the siblings who have a brother or sister who have a chronic illness or disability. What happens is many times the siblings feel a little left out, or their life has completely changed and they're kind of at a loss. They're angry, they could be scared, they could feel guilty, and sometimes even embarrassed. So Sibling Support Group meets once a month to provide that special time for the siblings. We've got very qualified professionals who facilitate the group and lead the kids through discussions to help them get at the root of where these feelings are coming from.
For a long time, Sally and Maggie really felt like this disease was consuming our lives, because it does take up so much time, and they don't feel like that anymore. They can kind of roll with the flow, and they share their stories with their own friends. This is their time to just forget that they have the overwhelming pressures of a child with special needs, because it's very stressful for them. It's a little deceiving because the name is Any Baby Can, but they do exist for the family, and that's what I try to make sure people understand. And I think our family is a more cohesive unit because everyone's got an outlet, and Any Baby Can has given all of my children that opportunity to deal with it.
John was my first son. My husband and I got married in 2000, and we had John on January 12th of 2002, and he was perfectly healthy, wonderful baby. We were very excited and incredibly in love, as all new parents are. I remember the morning of April 25th. That morning, for some reason, he was just in a silly mood and he was laughing, and I remember changing him, and I just didn't even want to take him to the babysitters because we were having such a good time. And so when I got to the babysitters, he was in his car seat. I carried him in. He was asleep. I left him there and left him with his bottles, and went on my way to work. And at about 1 o'clock that afternoon, I got a phone call, and I could see on my cell phone that it was the babysitter, and I answered it, and she was just yelling, and she said, "The baby, he's not breathing, he's not breathing." And finally get to the hospital, and my husband's already there, and I see my baby being worked on, and eventually the doctors came in and told us that they couldn't save him, they couldn't help him. And they didn't really have answers for us then. They said it was probably SIDS, which obviously we had heard of, but you don't think a whole lot about that. From there, we just moved forward, I guess. We just tried to deal with it.
The loss of a loved one is very difficult anytime. It seems to be particularly difficult for people who've lost a child because that's out of order. You're not supposed to outlive your children. And so that's very difficult for families, and it creates a variety of different stressors. Really what we do is meet with the family the first time and say, you know, what the problems are and what their view of what's happening, and then we work together to figure out the best way to serve them.
We went to our first support group probably about a month after John had died, maybe a month and a half. It was located at the Any Baby Can offices, and I heard other people's stories, and I saw them cry, and for the first time I felt a little bit of hope. One of my friends suggested that we all run the San Antonio Marathon in John's memory, and I just said, well, why don't we start a run in John's memory?
You're not supposed to forget, but you are supposed to find a way to make sense out of this. And people who successfully deal with grief and resolve it tend to figure out some meaning that has in their life.
We had the first annual John's Run Mother's Day weekend the year after John died in 2003, and it was way beyond our wildest dreams. We raised more money than we ever expected. We had such great support from Any Baby Can, and we had volunteers out there from Any Baby Can, and 5 years later, I can't believe it's already been 5 years, it's one of their major fundraisers. We developed friendships, we learned about each other, because you grieve so much differently, a husband and wife, and that's where the counseling was just so important to us.
By supporting, encouraging, and assisting the family, we can give every child a chance at a better life.